The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Nestled in the heart of California lies a track that is near and dear to all North American road racing fans. Monterey, California's Laguna Seca Raceway has held racing for many years and has the famous corkscrew that everybody knows and loves. A track that every sim racer and gamer has driven intimately. Everybody will have confidence here, but it's going to be a twisty, narrow race as the American Muscle Series season comes to a close. Race number 11 out of 12 here on the books here tonight, and we are happy to give you the action. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's race. Again, the American Muscle Series Season 6, race number 11 in our 12-race campaign here right on the channel. Happy to give you the coverage. As usual, going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth. I do have a familiar name here if you've been watching the channel for a significant amount of time here. Brandon Kreutz with me, as Andre was not able to help me out here on the evening. So first off, Brandon, welcome back to the booth. You haven't been here for a couple of years, but glad to have you on short notice. But I know you're a Mustang fan, and everybody loves Laguna Seca, so you should feel right at home with tonight's race.
Oh, absolutely. Who doesn't love a little American muscle, right? First of all, really good to be back. I'm happy to be kind of back into the swing of things. We'll shake the rust off. It's good to do every once in a while. And yeah, awesome to be back in my home here in PTR TV.
Yeah, exactly that. You helped me start the channel back in you started it back in 2017, and we are now in our mathematics, our 7th year here. Things rolling here on the channel, but other things that are rolling is our practice session right now. Again, race number 11 of 12 here in AMS. We'll pull up our ticker here and get a scope of where things stand in practice. Times Jack Sanchez, top of the board, to a 133.93. Eero Nom, who is and I just have to give Brandon a little bit of kind of context here. Eero Nom is our dominator here on the season. He has won 4 of the 5 seasons of AMS, and the only season he didn't win, he didn't run. So he is the guy to beat, and currently our points leader. Fabian's wired there third. Again, Jack Sanchez has been the dump. He has been on a hot streak here, doing quite well, but the times are very tight. But as I did bring up the points, let's go ahead and bring them up formally right now. Again, after 10 races on the season, including the 2 drop weeks, Eero Nom up by 11 points over Sanchez, Fabian's wire. Matt Malone has moved up 4th with Henriquez in 5th. Again, this is accounting for 2 drop weeks, which, depending on how the next 2 races go, those could be flip-flop. Chuck Labano in our amateur class has a pretty sizable lead over Charles Holsia right now, so barring any catastrophes, that AM battle probably won't change too much. The Thompson's there, 3rd and 4th, then pretty far ways back here. But now, Brandon, we are going to get to the end of practice here, so qualifying here at Laguna Seca, we all know about the corkscrew, but what other challenges is this track going to present in these big, heavy vehicles here tonight?
Yeah, the thing about the Mustangs, Corey, is they do drive somewhat similar to a stock car. You can really throw these cars around, but you gotta be careful. You get back into the throttle, those rear wheels really like to try to light up on you. So not a big deal in qualifying, but come race time, these guys gotta watch their tire usage. There is a lot of technical turns here at Laguna Seca, and coming into corners like the corkscrew are going to be tough, especially going full bore on these qualifying laps.
Yeah, exactly that. Usually you see about 2-3 laps in, and we have seen a little bit of weather conditions change. It was nice sunny skies here, but it looks as though clouds have come over, so luckily we're not having to watch an eclipse here in California, because that would have been detrimented here. But on track, Randall McGrew, who is in the top 10 in points, of course our league admin here, and other drivers all on their out laps, and that's a big wiggle there. But we do have, I think, right in our ballpark, mid-40s here, Brandon. And Laguna Seca, as we pull up our track map here, again, this isn't a surprise to anybody, there's not, I mean, I kind of got in a fight with people about this, but there's not really a good passing zone here. You know, turn 1 is probably the best, but I really struggle to say that there's another good, other than the last turn, maybe the first turn of the last turn. Other than that, you can make passes here, but might get a little bit dirty, metaphorically and physically.
Yeah, these guys, this racetrack, they may have to muscle their way through a little bit. Pushing the issue is definitely going to be a thing here. 44 drivers turn laps here in practice, so it's going to be interesting come the start of this race. Everybody's going to be fighting for that real estate, right? It's going to be really tight into 1, and then turns 2 and 3 here get real tight as well. Everybody's going to be trying to fight for that inside.
Yeah, fighting for that inside lane, and then you have the switchback here, which a lot of times happens when you get that pass done in turn number 1. You can get to the inside, but you don't clear. Then you're on the outside for turn number 2 there. That is Nick Beaver. He is getting off into the kitty litter, which will be a common situation here. And typically the corkscrew here looks as though you went for a day in the beach upon the end of the race here. But I think these guys are on their outlet. Nope, Euronom's still on his... Well, actually, let's see here. I'll get the graphic here. Nope, he is not on a lap yet, so we'll try to see where these times do come in. But let's take a look at our weather conditions here. We did note the change, as that is Ken Estep doing a little bit of a loop-de-loop. Now this is an anomaly there, Brandon. 68-degree track temp, rather air temp, but 103 track temp. So this is obviously that cloud cover hasn't cooled off this track yet, so it is still rather slick. 63% humidity, so luckily there's no fog, no moisture because we don't have rain tires, and a very minimal wind.
Yeah, you can see that sun. There's a little bit of cloud cover every once in a while, Corey. But you can see right now that sun's beating down all the way around this racetrack.
Yeah, just came back up.
These cars are going to be sliding all over the place, and that's what we got to watch with this throttle. You see these guys getting sideways on corner exit, and we already saw in qualifying, these guys push the limits and they just spin around there on corner exit. So between these curbs jumping out and the power that these race cars have, it's going to be tough.
Now Euronom coming under the VP bridge here into turn number 6. Now this turn tests all drivers' skill and bravery, because if you take it a little bit too hard and you're all the way out in that gravel trap. In real life, they paved a little bit of that. I know that's just an abomination. They said they had to it was just getting too dirty and causing too many track issues. But we do have some times coming in here on the board. A 1:35.73 for McGrew. Brennan Brush there at a 36 and change. Times are flying on in here. Let's see what Fabian's wire is. He's right up there in our points battle, coming through 11 here onto the front straightaway, using all that AstroTurf, not getting into the dirt because you don't want to have that penalty. Time to beat a 35.2. This won't happen. How about Eero? If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him, although this is lap number 1, so he still does have probably 2 more. 35.46, that'll be P3. So, but I do expect times to get better and better as the tires get some heat in them.
Yeah, these guys looking probably just taking it easy this first lap around, just trying to save their stuff, but run those tires up to their temperatures, their running temperatures, I should say, and this second lap is really going to be where they're pushing it. They're going to be trying to get the most out of these race cars, and while they have the opportunity. About 5 minutes left of qualifying, so this is going to be the fast lap for these guys, I think, second time out.
Luis Enriquez, he's another driver there in the top 5 in the standings. This will be a 52, so again, pretty tight times here. Top time is a 35.25, so only about 3 or 4 tenths separating the top 10 at the moment. And you can see there our red number there, the first red number, our first amateur, Charles Hosea. He's second in the amateur standings to Chuck Labano there. Chuck Labano, I'm trying to find him here on the scoring sheet, and I do not see if he has ran a lap yet, but then again, there's a lot of times to sift through here. So, yeah, Chuck Lobato has not turned a lap, but he will in a matter of moments here. You can see the next laps coming in. We're into the 34s now. Chuck Lobato, great lap for him at a 35 flat. That puts him tentatively in the 4th spot, so some great driving by him. But let's wait and see where Eero comes into play here, because he is going to be on the front straightaway here. 34.6 by Kevin Parrish. Let's see what Eero does. Coming to the stripe, 34.2 P1 for the 78 car.
Incredibly fast laps here, but everybody is so tight, just off by a couple of tenths of a second here. This is going to be real close come race time, I think, Corey. These guys are trying to give it everything they got, as we see Matt Malone on the screen here, trying to put down a good lap still. All of these guys really giving it all they got here, pushing these Mustangs to the limit, as squirrely they are off quarter exits.
Yep, just trying to get everything they have, hopping the curbs here, but keeping the car on the circuit, because again, if you get that 1X, your qualifying lap is invalidated. Of course, as we do every week here on PTR TV, we want to do our very important readout for a very good cause here. The American Muscle Series is also racing to raise awareness for the American Society for Suicide Prevention. AFSP saves lives and brings hope to those affected by suicide. They're a voluntary health organization that gives those affected by suicide a nationwide community empowered by research, education, and advocacy to take action against this leading cause of death. Together, we can stop suicide. AFSP.org. So, of course, check that out. Very important there here. But we are, again, lap number 3. I'd even probably stretch it to say these guys can go lap number 4, as Jack Sanchez, he goes top of the board with a 34 flat. We saw those times there in practice, high 33s. So now that makes you wonder, here comes Eero. Is he going to get into that 33-second bracket?
He's on a good time here. Let's see when he gets to the line.
Nope.
Oh, not quite. 134.2 is going to be the time for Eero.
All right, another driver's on circuit. Kind of hard to tell who is running where at this point, so I'm just trying to see if anybody is on a live lap that is near completion here. Is Jack Sanchez. He's about halfway through, and where'd he go? Where did he come from? Where did he go? Cotton Eye Joe, don't quite know where he went there. Top of the hill, down again, turn number 6. Yeah, I'm still terrible with the puns, so you should know things over the years here.
I was trying to hold back my laughter on
that. No, that's the thing with this. We have fun, and the unfortunate thing is I don't think Phil Keck is here. Phil Keck is, he went on, actually I remember that, he went on a little vacation for the Eclipse, so he's actually missed 2 races in a row. He's our Taco Phil. He always has a Taco Bell car. And let's see, where's that face?
I love it.
That's Aaron That Face Bray. He is in, and if there's any indication why we call him that, well, there you go. David Finch here on track. Looks like these guys pulling in don't quite have their ducks in a row to get another lap. Neil Kemp here on circuit. About a minute and a half left. Now, one thing with this series, Brandon, they don't run the cool down post qualifying, where typically you get about a minute and a half to finish up your live lap. So once that timer does roll down, we will cut right to the grid, and we will have about 3 minutes to get through that starting lineup of about 44 cars here. So anybody else here on circuit trying to finish this one out? Brandon Brush, he will, no, it's Laguna Seca. He'd probably get that finished if he does choose to do so, but he's coming out of 5 here up the hill, 45 seconds into his lap. Anybody else? Neil Kemp? Nope, it's Jeff Andrus here. Where does he stand? Nope, he just started one. He's going to be in 21st, so looks like that'll do it here pretty much for our qualifying. Again, this is race number 11 of 12. Our final race of the season will be next week, and that will be at Bathurst, which should be an absolute blast and a very difficult race to conclude this season out. And then we will have about a 12-week break and then start ourselves 4-week season number 7. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit that like and subscribe button on our mission to 1,300 subscribers. Just need your help to get us there. But you can see that timer's going down to 0, Brandon. So we're going to get ourselves down here and get ready for a starting lineup. So we're going to bump the music here, and we're going to head down, and we already kind of have a vague idea, but let's give them the formality. The PTR TV starting lineup here today from the Laguna Seca Raceway. On today's poll from Oregon, we got Jack Sanchez with that 34 flat. Couldn't quite get in the 43s, but close enough to it. Hero Nom going to settle for an outside front row start. Kevin Parrish, the Lumberjack, he's going to be in third with Fabian Zweier out of Germany in fourth. We got Randall McGrew in fifth. Matt Malone going to start this race from the sixth spot. Seventh spot finds Ian Lane, and then Luke Sedenga going to be in the eighth spot. Ninth and 10th will be Luis Enriquez and David Finch. And I know, Brandon, you're not the best with pronunciations, but give it your best shot for us.
All right, starting 11th is going to be Matt Thompson, and Evan Hoopchak, that's how I was going to say it, starting in the 12th position. Starting 13th is going to be Nick Beaver, with Chuck Labano starting to his outside in 14th. 15th is going to be David Moore. Starting in the 16th position is going to be Kevin Buchholz. Starting 17th is going to be the number 41 of Brandon Bush, with Neil Kemp starting to his outside on 18th. 19th is going to be Dan Ott, with Charles Houchet starting to his outside in 20th.
You only butchered about 3 of those. I'm proud of you. Jeff Anderson 21st, with Ed Sancinelli in 22nd. 23rd finds Aaron That Face Bray in 23rd, with Antoine Sederski in 24th. Dave Blair 25th. David Fernandez out of New York in 26th. Adam Freese in 27th. Mark Royce out of Myrtle Beach in 28th. And 29th and 30th finds Jay Little and Stefan Price.
Starting in the 31st position is going to be Tom
Wentz.
So starting 32nd is going to be Levi Powell. Starting in the 33rd position out of Austin, Texas, is going to be Matthew
Guzenda.
I'm getting better. Brandon Smith starting to his outside in 34th. Starting in the 35th position is going to be Jeff Besnard, and Merle.
You can do it.
Eschman starting to his outside in 36. Scott Brooks starting in the 37th position, with Freddie Reaver starting 38th. Starting at the 39th position is going to be John Casey, and rounding out the top 40 is going to be Greg Brockway.
All right, and our last couple drivers, Reese Gardner in 41st, Mike Neekum in 42nd, and then our final row of drivers here, 43rd, Mike Thompson, and then Ken Estep, I had a nickname for him, but I forgot what it was. It was something about an artistic grandpa there in the 44th spot here. So, again, we give admin gives us 4 minutes to get through the grid here, so after that's done, he kind of gives us a little bit of a heads up here as to when it is, because we don't have a way to know exactly when the checkered flag, the green flag is going to wave, and I just got our 60 seconds here. So again, 40 minutes of action here at Laguna Seca. So Brandon, the biggest thing here, we got 44 cars on a track that's basically wide enough for one car lane, and so it's going to really be a matter of just getting through this first lap to get this thing racing out.
Yes, absolutely it is. And sorry to anybody's name that I butchered there. I'm shaking the rust off here. I was never good with names, but turn 1 is going to be real tight here. Look at all those Mustangs lined up.
Now 44 deep, and we're going to have the long snake here, and hopefully no melee here, but Laguna Seca, anything's possible. We'll wait for that final cue, but we're getting ready. I think that is the cue, if I'm not mistaken. I got somebody there who is just not paying no attention. He's just, how is he on the starter stand and just doing, not even trying? He's just talking his head off there. Well, we got a race to begin here at Laguna Seca Raceway. He's just chilling with his arm crossed. He don't give a crap. But either way, Barney gives a crap, because he's going to get this race underway. He's going to put that green flag in the air. The lights will go on in just a moment. There they go. 44 Mustangs racing here at Laguna Seca.
As a starter myself, I appreciate Barney's style. The Mustangs power down into turn number 1 here, and they go through. We'll see if they go through cleanly. 3, almost 4 wide in some places.
Yeah, going all through the back. We're going to let it play out. Do we see any smoke here exiting turn number 2? We don't see smoke, but we do see some dust. Kick the dust up Luke Bryan style as we do it here, but everybody keeping themselves situated and keeping themselves all set here underneath the Firestone Bridge. Jack Sanchez gets himself a fair lead, and again, bounced to what I expected so far. Well, I spoke a little bit too soon there. Someone at the back of the shot. He got loose. That's Jeff Besnard. Managed to save it.
Yeah, good save. They're locking up the brakes, not collecting anybody else. The field snakes through here on the racetrack. Heading down into some tight technical turns here, Corey, as the field starts to single out. Still side by side at a couple of places going towards the corkscrew.
Yeah, I saw Matt Malone make a pass, get by Randall McGrew there as we head down the corkscrew for the first time here today from very cloudy Monterey, California here. Everybody trying to get through the corkscrew as best they can. Don't want to get the slowdown, Brandon. If you cut too close on that rumble strip, you may have to give up some time here, but we do even have some side-by-side going down there, but everyone doing a good job showing some respect, and thus far getting through it fine.
The car gets so light going through that section of the racetrack, especially side-by-side. That gets real tough as these guys power down into the final corner to complete lap number 1.
Yep, thus far, somebody there back of the shot going off into the kitty litter, but nothing too dangerous there. That seems to be a common trend, everybody doing that, but I'll take some dust on the track if it means that we run ourselves some clean racing here. But up front, Fabian Zweier under fire from Jack Sanchez. Sanchez gets right to that rear bumper. You got the PTR TV logo. Be nice to the bumper, Jack. We like our branding to be not scuffed on up there, but he's going to go for the lead here in turn number 3. Drag race under the bridge into turn number 4. Again, Brandon, this is easy to keep yourself side by side here. Just as I say that, Fabian drops back in line.
Yeah, Sanchez going to power through to the lead there in car number 23. Everybody's going to follow in line. You can see no gaps in the train at the moment, Corey. Everybody's staying right with each other here so far in the first couple of laps of this event.
Going a little bit further back, we have Brandon Brush getting by, as we call him, Dahan O'Toole here, and there's a backstory to that. Basically, his name is Dan Ott, Brandon, but I said that I was going to purposely butcher the easiest name in this race that I could find, so that was him. So we call him Dahan O'Toole there. That is his rolling nickname. Or we call him Dirty Dan, you know, from SpongeBob, because he nudged somebody off circuit at Mossport a few weeks ago. But, you know, we have some fun with this series. That's why we love doing it here. Coming down into the corkscrew, that's the 145, Antoine Siderski there in about the 40, in the 145, roughly in that 40, that 22nd spot. I don't know why I'm struggling so bad here today. Neil Kemp just back there as well. So, actually, let's look for the first red name on our ticker here, Brandon. We got Matt Thompson. He's currently leading our amateur class here. Chuck Labano down there in the 13th spot. So, again, they're doing pretty well. Usually those amateur guys down in the 20s, but if you can hang top 10 with the pro guys, you know you're having a pretty good day.
Yeah, and you know, one thing about this racetrack at Laguna Seca is it's kind of a niche track as well. It gets technical, and sometimes you see new faces starting to surface up to the front. You know, ovals have that, dirt tracks have the same thing at certain race facilities, and this is one of those racetracks where some guys are just happen to be faster here.
Yeah, this is a very driver-oriented track. We have a battle here. Kevin Parrish taking a little bit of a dive into the inside of Fabian's wire here, and Fabian, I think, playing a little bit cautiously, which is not the, which is a pretty good strategy to impose here at this point. But Parrish will drop back into line. Looks like Ero didn't get off the little kink that well here, heading up the hill. Now Matt Malone's going to have a dive into the corkscrew here. This is risky, and I think Malone realized that, pulls back in line, but Randall McGrew back there.
Man.
He's trying to take advantage of the situation.
So light, you really got to get off those brakes at a certain point there before the corkscrew, otherwise you're going for a ride. And you can see these guys almost bouncing off of each other every time they go through here, as we got side by side out of the corkscrew, and those guys managed to make it work.
Yeah, I'm trying to take a look here on my back, and I do have the telemetry abilities to see if there was any crashes here on the evening, and I don't have any yet. I mean, we've had guys go off circuit, we've had guys go off in the dust, but everyone doing a fabulous job here. I expected a lot worse, and that's no disrespect to these guys, but it's the nature of this track. But next week at Bathurst with the walls on every side, that may be a different story. At least we have a little bit of runoff from here to play with. But Fabian dropping back just a little bit. Jack Sanchez on a hot streak. He has been, I think he won last week, and he's doing his best to claw into that gap. We saw about 12 points that Ero has over the competition, so this would be a good day if it can stay there. And But still a lot of time to go. Going a little bit further back, Nick Beaver. He is the 10th car, and he's in 10th spot. That's what he does. He always finishes 10th, but he tried to break the mold here. Going underneath, that's Luke Sedenga here. Nearly doored him here, but they gave each other space. Now someone's going to have to give here in the kink.
You would think that somebody's got to give, and it doesn't look like either one of them are.
And in the wall goes Busch.
Man.
Just, I had to feed into my Darlington quote there, but they're going to go door to door and do the corkscrew, because if you can't go side by side there, you may as well try it here. Sedenga will get 2 wheels and do the Zanardi line there, and he'll manage to clear and get into that 9th spot, retaining Nick Beaver in his cliche 10th position.
Yeah, they gave each other a little bit of room there, and Beaver's trying to fight back once again. Right in the bumper, into the kitty litter he goes. Oh, using every inch of this racing surface sideways down through the final corner.
Yep, as we head on to the pit straight here with, somebody going off stray there. That is, who was that? That is the 45. That was Luke Sedenga. We were just talking about him. Now he's bumperless. So we will have to skedaddle here and find out the reasoning that his bumper is dislocated. Oh, he cooked it in too deep. Now, that was David Moore there with a little bit more contact. And you don't need a rear bumper.
Yeah, like the Sum 41 song, In Too Deep. I think that was Sum 41.
Yep, and now there'll be something on eBay after the race here for everybody. So
nothing like losing your pants.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but very accurate statement here. Coming through I believe, the beginning part of the circuit here. Yes, we're heading into turn number 5. Down the long left-hander to Brandon Brush in the 41. Little Chicken Racing's Kevin Buckholz to the outside there with Chuck Labano again. He's trying to gain some spots there. Our amateur leader, but he's 6 positions back of those other guys. So he's trying to get through, but side by side, where do you go? Look at this gaggle, as Matt Malone would say, coming into the corkscrew.
Oh, you gotta watch this. 2-3 cars deep, they're side by side. They give each other the room. Somehow these guys are making it work. It's beyond me how they're doing that, but so far so clean here as I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, thus far everything is well. You have even, I think that's Jeff Andrus there. Yep, he's in that blue car. With that's David Fench in that 35. And someone with the full send move here into the final corner. That was the 80 of Ed Sancinelli. He just looked the stamp and sent it there and didn't have to pay the long distance fee there. He'll get himself into that spot. I'm looking a little bit further up here. Fabian Zweier slow. I think he may have went off track or perhaps got a slowdown here. Let's double check that very quickly. He was under fire from, that was Parrish in turn number 2 here. I don't think there was any contact. No, he just seemed to got loose, maybe overcooked the curbs there.
Yeah, I think he hit that curb just as he was getting back on the throttle and killed the rear end there. He let up the rear tires, and that was all she called for.
All she called for. That puts Iro Nam in third. Not good news for Jack Sanchez, because that will eat into the potential points gain here. But again, still a lot of time to go. And of course the pit stop here. But look at a little bit further back. Matt Malone bump drafting at Laguna Seca. Words I never thought I would utter. However, they were just uttered here. And he's just trying to get back, because I think he lost a spot to McGrew, and now he's trying to dig for it back here, coming down into turn number 9, now turn number 10, and then leading into 11 here. If he can get himself set up, he can maybe send it on into 11, but I think he's a little bit too far back.
Yeah, I think it's still too early to try to be doing the full send moves like that, Corey. We're just about to hit the 30-minute mark in this race, or 30 minutes to go, I should say. And yeah, it's not. I don't think it's worth playing the bumper games quite yet.
Yeah, it's not, and that's something that we do see. We see bumpers, but again, as we talked about, you kind of related this to stock cars, which it is, because these are big, heavy cars. They are slow, so you can, no pun, muscle them around. You can get a little bit, as we like to say, physical here on the channel, and get away with it. These cars will manage to, get a little bit free, but you're going slow enough that you can correct it, and luckily here there is room to save it if things go astray here. But we'll go back to our next best battle on the track. Up front, Sanchez up by a second over Parrish, and Iro Nam back there in third, but the gaggle still lies in at about, I'd say, 14th through 20th here. They're all within about a second. This is the longest train here on the circuit. Going even further back, you got Reese Gardner in that 94, which is the number that I'm partial to. He's in there in that 28th spot, trying to close in on Jay Little. And some just good racing all throughout. I'm just double checking. Other than what we've already seen, actually we may have one trigger with Mike Neekum here who had an accident. Oh yeah, that is an accident. We'll get one more look at that. Oh yeah, that was, I mean, speaking of licking stamps and sending it, Mike Neekum went full send there. I almost want to think that was a hardware failure there.
You know what happened? He French fried when he should have pizza. When you French fry when you should pizza, it's gonna be a bad time.
I mean, what if the pizza place has French fries? Then what's the case there?
Some people will get that reference. That was a skiing reference, Corey.
Yeah, like the fray that was over my head there. But you got Kevin Parrish, who has lost his gap to Iro Nam. That's about 2 car lengths, and there is, as much as you hate to say it in the automobile world, there is a little bit of aero wash here in these Mustangs. It's not much, but it's enough that it is on those higher speed corners, something that the drivers do feel there. And Aero did have to work through that, through the 2-3-4 complex, as it is a little bit higher speed here. And through the kink, you'll definitely feel it as well. But if he can get a good run out of the kink, drag race him up the hill, and make it into that gap into the corkscrew, but it was not able to do so. But Matt Malone, again, just all over the back bumper of Randall McGrew. Is he going to try to do anything? Nope, he's just going to sit there and try to scare him. Well, you can see that Mustang looking fierce. That would make me look in the mirror and go, ah. But go, ah? Go, ah? What are you, at the dentist? Ah! Add that to this. That's better. Yeah, there you go. I mean, somebody clip that. That is the least scared I think I've ever heard here. That's about high school drama acting right there. But this battle is some pretty good stuff. But I'm going to pull up our lap times here on the ticker so you can look there, and the gaps will change over to lap time. We'll get a perspective here. Jack Sanchez 34.9. Last time by, Parrish 0.2 of a second faster. But however, he's a second max, so what good is that? Liro Nam basically matching times with the leader. Then most everybody else kind of modulating in between that 34 and 35 second bracket here. But Sanchez has that comfortable lead, and it's good because he can run his own pace. There's no slipstream here of a serious nature, so he's not going to get, tag teamed per se. Tell that to Matt Malone and Randall McGrew. So this is really the best condition he can ask for. Is run your pace. You have enough. You're doing decent. You're matching speed. They're not gaining on you. You just have to run your race and not screw up, which is easier said than done, of course. Yeah, and you can see that was a pretty good representation there, Corey, of just how heavy these cars are. They are stock Ford Mustangs, essentially, the cage and spoiler, maybe a couple aerodynamic modifications, but the suspension really gives way going through these corners. You can see the lean on these cars as they throw them around. Yeah, and the snout just completely drops here, like you'd think it was a Chevy because it drops like a rock there. Is that Chevy or is that GMC? I don't quite know. But either way, it's not Ford. No, is it really though? No. Is it Chevy, GMC? They're the same thing. Yeah, but they do brand differently. Chevy, I want to say Chevy will be there like a rock. I don't know. One of the two. It's not a Ford, but yeah, it drops like a rock here. But Nick Beaver, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Nick Beaver, he is in 10th in the standings most of the time. He qualifies 10th. He runs 10th. He does everything 10th. So when he is in 9th, that is a failure. If he goes to McDonald's, he orders the number 10. If he wants $20, he takes out 2 10s. Nick, lose a spot and do your job. I preference a number 1 typically, but number 10. What is that, the 10-piece maybe? I don't know. I don't go to fast food enough. Sitting in the 9th position, Nick Beaver is, and he's starting, I believe, to get caught by the AM driver, Matt Thompson. Yeah, he's a little bit back there. Matt Thompson, the highest of the amateurs here on the evening. And Charles Hosea, He is second in the point standings right now in that division. He's currently running in 12th. He is under slight fire there from David Moore. And then as I go back to Chuck Labano there, Chuck Labano, he started today's efforts from the 14th spot, so he's actually -2. So that's 4 positions, but Hosea will need significantly more than that if a championship move is going to be happening here on the evening. A little bit further back, you can see Luke Sedenga with his bumperless number 45 car. He is battling with David Finch there in that bright green and purple number 35, and Neil Kemp just behind that. And we have this is very, very early. We got our first pit stop in the form of Randall McGrew.
Well, you know what they say, early bird gets the worm, and maybe that's the tactic here. I don't think there's any incident there to drive him to pit road, so we'll see what happens. Just a strategy play. So
I have a theory here. I forgot I have my track map enabled here tonight. So you can see on the track map here, there is a fair bit of space, you know, on the top here, half of the track here, my beautiful artistic abilities. So if he blends out into that gap, he'll be able to run his own lap times without having to be in that traffic. This pit road exit lane is super narrow, very, very difficult. But unfortunately, he's not going to blend out into empty real estate, so he still will have to deal with a little bit of traffic. Hopefully, for his sake, he can get through it and still run good lap times and not shuffle out too far back.
There you can see he's already stuck in traffic back there, so hopefully it works out for him. And we see a couple of cars still going at it here.
He's got a picture on the roof, is that? Oh, and I don't have a camera that's going to be good enough, but there's a picture on the roof. Is that himself? I don't know.
I can't.
I know that I don't have a good top-down camera.
I blame our producer for not having a good. I believe it is.
So, yeah, our chopper cam is. This is decent. Now Brandon is a graphic design person. He's more doing it in the real world these days, but for a long time, your biggest thing was doing iRacing schemes for quite some time, and this is perfect paint scheme coverage here. Make the broadcasters curious, and you will get yourself airtime.
Yeah, I don't see any sponsors on that machine, but that is good airtime to get your name out there, and we'll just throw it out there. He's running in the 8th position right now, so good on him.
Yeah, we do got some other guys heading to the attention of their crews. Kevin Buckholes in the pits, Reese Gardner in the pits as well. So this is early. This is well before not well before, but it's before halfway. Typically, these guys come to the pits maybe 8 minutes left, so this is rather early. You won't see tire changes here. It's just they take too long for the amount of minimal gain you'll get. You'd think it was a Martinsville NASCAR tire as little as it wears, but Matt Maloney is now on the back bumper of Fabian's wire. He's in the 5th spot. He sees 4th. He's only 3 seconds off the overall lead. Matt Malone only had 1 podium here. Oh, no, he said multiple podiums, but we've only spoken to him once here on the season. So he's going to try to get into that 2nd spot. He said he wanted to have a word with us, so he's got a little bit of work before that will happen. Fabian is going to try to hold him up here into the final corner. Malone not going to drive it in too deep as of yet. And then you have Fabian trying to close in on Eero Knob, who's kind of stagnated, which is very, very rare for him as fast as he is. He's kind of stagnated there in that 3rd spot, and Jack Sanchez is just pulling the legs out on these guys. Now a 1.5 seconds, which does not happen too often in this series. I know you don't know that, Brandon, but these guys are usually within a 0.5 second of each other most of the time.
Yeah, it's I feel like this is just this car in general. These guys are obviously very tight in times. It's a very competitive series, and this car honestly just enhances that type of racing. When you have a bunch of fast guys together, it's almost a level playing field. So to see somebody pulling away, it does not happen often.
A little bit of contact there. That's Fernandez and Fench. I think Fench in that bright green car was trying to fall back in line behind the 09 of Fernandez, but he mistimed it by a skosh there. Luke Sedenga door-to-door with the Jeff Andrus in that 104. They're going to go and continue to go side by side here, and You got to watch out for those little red sausage curbs. If you get too low as the inside car, it will throw you astray. So you got to watch out for that. Now they're going to head down the straight into the left-hander. Sedengo will have the ideal line here. Drives it on in. Andrews thought he was going to set up a crossover, but he will have to suffice. And then Randall McGrew, no, he already pitted. He sees two cars he knows he's faster than, but he has to get by responsibly.
Throwing those cars around. He's going to try to take it up side by side, heading into the corkscrew. We'll see what happens here. We got to play it real easy.
And drives it on in there, and Andrews will let him go. Nice. And up front, we do have a change for the second spot. Eero did get around Fabian here. We'll very quickly try to find how that happened here. I think it was just... Oh, Fabian, he must have got a slowdown off the final corner. That must be the only thing I could think of there, because he dropped back about 3 or 4 spots. Must have went a little bit too wide. That gave it to Eero, and now he will be in second. Fabian did fall into third. Now Malone going to be on his back bumper again. If you just go a little bit too wide, Brandon, in some of these corners, iRacing is going to slap you on the wrist there, and it will cost you.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can see, dipping the wheel off, but Malone is tapping on the back door of this podium, Corey, and I know you mentioned he said that he wants to work with us, and he's trying hard to really push those limits. He's been on these guys' back bumper pretty much this entire race.
Yes, he has, and he's made some mistakes this season. Of course, Interlagos with his pit demolition there, and Mossport drove himself off track, so he's 5th in the standings, doesn't have another drop week, but you know, he needs to do his best, and he's doing just that from that 4th spot. And Eero just not pulling away. He's running about, last time by, he ran 0.2 of a second faster than Jack Sanchez. Somebody
off in the dirt there.
Yeah, doing some agricultural work here. Can't quite make out who that is, but there's Freddie Reaver in the Lemonade car. You know, I got too many inside jokes that I'd never be able to explain them all to you there, but Jack Sanchez out by almost 2 seconds here, and that battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, all under fire here. Going a little bit further back, we got other action. I believe actually everyone's pretty well spaced out now, so we'll keep focused on this, and we'll just await that one set of pit stops.
Yeah, still pretty much a train around Laguna Seca, and you know, these guys are able to pass here more so than I thought they would. We talked about right at the beginning of this race that this is really a one-lane racetrack. There's not a whole lot of passing opportunity, but these guys are really making it work in these Mustangs and just trying to lay the power down. They're throwing these cars around. It's been really entertaining.
And David Finch likes to play in traffic. I think like a real-world parkour there. I think if that's what the kids say. I remember watching them on Grand Theft Auto back in the day, just running across the street. Or is that Frogger? I don't quite know.
I'd be Frogger for you.
What is park? No, I don't want to. I'm old here.
Real-life parkour. I've never heard that.
I don't know reference. Well, I'm old. As we just found out, too, I need to live to be 90 years old because the next solar eclipse coming through my area is in 2079. So if I could live to be 90 years old, that'd be nice. Speaking of aging there. But either way, let's try to see what's going to go on. We see the entry to the pits there, and nobody is taking heed to that as of yet here, as we are 15, closing on 16 laps complete. And we do have, he was so far ahead, we missed the shot there, but that is our race leader coming to the attention of his crew. So what we are going to do, we're going to focus on him because we want to get a scope of how long these pit stops are, Brandon. The amount of time you spend in this stall, you got to get exactly enough fuel. And when I say exactly, I mean exactly. He's taking tires. Did not expect that.
I don't know if that's intentional or
2
not.
tires.
I don't think that was on purpose. Real bold move. And if that was a mistake, a miscommunication with the crew, that's huge, Corey.
Well, these guys are very, very calculated when it comes to their pit stalls, because we will have drivers intentionally take less fuel than they need because they want to get out in front of the other drivers, and they're like, I'll just find a way to save it. Even if I'll just find a way. So this track is very, very left turn centric. So putting right sides on, you know, might not be the worst call. Now, he was in the pits for 12 seconds, and I'm just kind of scrolling down here to other drivers who have pitted. And we have Randall McGrew here. He has pitted. He's up to 14th. He pitted for about 12 seconds. So that's identical pit stop. So he clearly found the need, and I'm just looking through here. You have Evan Hubchak. He pitted in a 13-second stop, so I guess they're getting away with it here today. Those 2 tires. We'll see if everybody else does it. Eero going full send into the pit lane there.
Almost sideways on that access road.
This is not, hopefully, please pit, Matt, please pit. Yes! I wanted to show this pit entry here. It's almost like a chicane and a super tight hairpin here.
Oh,
so, I mean, is somebody going to go full yeet and hit themselves on the pit entry? Cough, cough, Matt Malone? I guess maybe we'll find out.
Full yeet.
I'm trying to be hip with the kids.
You're something. I'm hearing references I don't think I've ever heard, Corey. Even from you, you're usually pretty bad with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeet. I watch enough Moon Car every now and then, so I kind of know what the kids are talking about here. We got Ian Lane leaving the pits here. He is just behind Eero Nam, and the debate is still out on Ian Lane's car. I think that's a slice of pizza. I think that's a really zoomed in slice of pepperoni pizza. We haven't figured it out yet. Perhaps it's a hot dog, but we're going to go with a slice of pizza. So.
It definitely looks like pizza. It looks like a really good slice of pizza at that. It's making me hungry.
Yeah, well, I know my Dave's Doubles coupons are gone, so I can't go to Wendy's. Maybe I got a Celeste pizza in the freezer I can pop in. But let's see what happens if Fabian's Wire, Malone, and company will come to the attention of their crews this time by exiting the final corner. Somebody has expired a motor. Hopefully they're not putting some virtual oil down here on circuit. But coming off the final corner, we got one left turn. Malone keeps himself on track, but Parrish is going to come in. And again, let's don't go into the pit wall here. Easier said than done.
Tires.
Yeah. But Malone will stay on circuit, and he'll get himself a lap lead, and he'll probably pit next time by to a wide open and hopefully empty pit road where he can take advantage of that. Jack Sanchez, he has blended out to the 5th spot right now, and you can see the gap over Eero Nam here. So he is exiting right now. Eero Nam back there stuck behind the pizza mobile and some other traffic. So this pit cycle certainly worked out for Jack Sanchez. He's going to pad that lead, and Eero is going to have some work to do to even get himself in equal real estate.
Yeah, it's getting a bit crowded here between these guys and these pit cycles, Corey. So you got to be really careful when they're pushing these cars around not to make any contact.
Makes you wonder here as the laps are ticking down. Is there going to be benefit to Matt Malone maybe just taking fuel only where he is the leader now? He's going to need less fuel than everybody else does. Is the tire degradation going to be worth that maybe extra second or two that he may or may not need? But this is going to hurt him here, exiting the corkscrew down into 9, setting himself up into 10. Did have to get by a slower car. 102 is right in front of him right now, but he'll have clean entry into the pits.
Here he goes. Oh, on the brakes.
He did it.
He made it.
Now let's see here. I mean, I don't know if he was probably 3 or 4 seconds off the lead. So if he has a good cycle, maybe he'll blend out maybe 2 seconds back. But Jack Sanchez is just so good right now. But let's see if the Jacks go up on that number 83. My guess says no, but I'm always wrong, so probably will. Nope.
Nope, they're not taking tires.
Let's see, 12.9 was the time most people took, so about a second and a half.
11.4.
Yeah, second and a half faster. Now let's see. Sanchez is just now coming out, so it's not going to be a race-winning move, but maybe it solidifies Malone in second place, whereas Fabian is going full power here into turn number 2. And I think him and Malone will be best as pals here as they blend back out. Malone has a little bit of traffic in front of him to boot.
Yeah, Malone, you can see him up there, the red bumper. He merged just ahead, actually in a pretty good spot there. Fabian is going to catch these cars in a bad spot.
Yeah, he got around. That's Freddie Weaver. He got around him there. Freddie's going to try to get out of the way. Then you have Eero, Kevin Parrish, Ian Lane, who's having a fabulous run. I don't want to understate that. By far, a great run from Ian Lane there. He is right into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. I forgot to add that one to my soundboard. Forgot about that. But he's in the thick of it there in that 6th position. Randall McGrew back in set. Brandon, we have fun with this. There's a Coke race going live right now, and they are as dull as white paint at a doctor's office. We have fun here. And if that gets me fired, it gets me fired. But so far, people stick with us. So we have some fun here.
As dull as white paint in the doctor's office. All right.
I mean, no disrespect to them. They do a great job, but I mean, I just can't make everything all yuppie and happy when it's just not the case. Wait a second here. How did Matt Malone take the lead?
What did we miss, Corey? We missed something.
We saw Jack Sanchez pass him on track, did we not?
Pretty sure we did. No, we definitely did.
So let me
color me confuzzled.
Color me confuzzled and call me Steve here, but let's see. I do have.
All right, Steve.
All right, I do have the ability here to go. All right, something must have happened to Sanchez.
He's ahead here.
What?
Did it happen?
Did he get a slowdown?
He got a slowdown.
But where? I didn't. Where did I don't see where he got a slowdown. I mean, we're not missing anything live at the second now, so I do want to this is race changing potentially here. I mean, he hopped the curb, but was that enough? It must have been.
Somewhere through that corner, or I don't know if it was in the corner before, but he got a slowdown penalty and a hefty one at that.
Now, obviously, Jack has those fresh right side tires and the pace here, but this has brought Fabian into it. So now all of a sudden we got a trio here with approximately 6 minutes left to go. Matt Malone's going to drive for his life, but obviously that 23 is the car to beat. He has the fresher tires, and he's going to beat. Oh, I can't say the line I was going to say. He's going to try to get all over the back bumper of Malone here. He's kissing it, he's bumping it, he's nudging it, but Malone hangs on. I almost said he was going to beat off the bumper.
Matt Malone almost going for a ride there.
I almost said he was going to beat off the bumper, but I guess I just said it. But that wasn't how I meant it. That was not how I meant it.
Whatever floats your goat there, Corey.
Goat?
But Malone hanging on to the lead. Now it's a 3-car battle.
Now you got Jack Sanchez, who wants to get by naturally, but this is just accordioning everybody back together here. Matt is going into the dirt here, and there goes Jack trying to set up something, but again, this is just the nature of Laguna Seca. Where do you set it up? I mean, right now, maybe he can get a run into the kink, force him in a precarious spot, get a little bit of traffic ahead, coming through the kink, up the hill into turn number 6. I think it's going to be a crazy ride through the corkscrew.
Look at him. He's looking low. He's trying to put some fear into him. Coming up towards the corkscrew, right on the back bumper here for the lead. This is for the lead, folks, and easy does it. Heartbreaking. My
it goes
Lanta.
wide. But that's going to be on the outside, but it maybe give Malone, it didn't give him the best line there through that corner. Now he's going to set himself up for turn number 10. And then eventually for turn number 11, one of the best passing zones on the track if Sanchez wants to go full send, but he's a little bit too far back to go full send, or is he? Malone not being pressured. Malone is in the ice. He's Iceman right now. He's not being pressured, but I don't think he got the best run off of the final corner. Maybe lost a little bit of momentum. They're going to be snaking defensive line, and oh yeah, there's traffic ahead.
He definitely let off of his brakes there to try to avoid contact. Malone did, and now into one. Look at the crossover. He's going to make it work side by side out of turn number 2.
Side by side, but now Jack Sanchez not in the ideal spot. But who is in the ideal spot? Fabian Zweier says, wherever you go, I'm going the opposite way. And he just can't figure out what move to make. Malone is playing the defense of the 2004 San Antonio Spurs right now. But thus far, I mean, there's got to be a crack in the armor at some point, Brandon. It's very hard to be a slower car and hold on for that long. Eventually, something has to give, and it may be these 2 lap cars in front.
He has 5 minutes to try to get this done and hang on, and getting into lap traffic, a crowded traffic at that. Look at him, back bumper. They're going to be side by side.
Don't go. We're
wide.
not going 3 wide into the corkscrew. We're not going 3 wide into the corkscrew. We went 3 wide into the corkscrew. Lap car goes out of the way, and somehow they all get through. I don't know how.
Lap car hit the dirt there to try to avoid that mayhem, and somehow they still come out in one piece. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, they get through in one piece, and Fabian's wire, I think he's just kind of licking his chops here. He probably sees that something is going to go astray, and who else is licking his chops? Hero Nom. He was seconds upon seconds off, but now that they're slowing each other up, these leaders are now running about a half second off their pace in this intense battle. Hero Nom able to eat the gap up. Malone doing a defensive line into turn number 2. Sanchez going round the outside, but that'll set him up for a crossover, but he had to fall back in the line and just go all over that rear bumper.
Malone hung the defensive line there.
Was that a slowdown? He lost a ton of momentum, and there goes Wire on the outside. Malone's going to have space to go, and look at the huge slide.
Wow. Side by side now for the runner-up position. They run each other into the dirt, kicking the dust up, and we'll skip the Luke Bryan reference this time around. Those guys are able to settle it out.
That is the name of the racing here. These guys are getting physical with 3-ish laps to go at Laguna Seca, and the person who wants to send Christmas cards right now is Matt Malone. Keep racing, keep doing it. I need all the gap I can get. That number 23 has me on speed, has me on tires, but I don't know if he has him on time now with a second to spare with about 2, maybe 3 laps to go.
Oh man, 3 minutes until we see the white flag for approximately that, Corey. Unbelievable racing so far. These guys are still trying to settle it out here behind the leader.
Again, that's Kevin Parrish. He has been able to get himself into this battle as well. He is in the 5th spot, 2nd through 5th, separated by a few tenths of a second here. Fabian's going to get a run underneath Jack Sanchez here. They're going to go door to door. They're banging fenders here, banging side panels down the front straightaway. Is it fun? Is it making them upset? I don't quite know. Sanchez must be fuming internally. This was his race, and he cost it. He's going to go door to door, but he should have the position. He's going to turn Wire.
He turns him, putting donuts on the door, not the kind you eat, hard into the concrete down below.
Now that one ain't gonna go pretty with race control. I'll tell you that one right now. Ultra quick. We'll check this out on replay here because this is race altering here, and yeah, it's hard to tell. A little bit of A, a little bit of B. I don't quite know, but now Matt Malone up by 2 seconds here. Sanchez has full control of second. I don't know how that's going to go with race control. It might be most penalties do apply to the following week rather than to this current week, so I don't want to speculate, but I know that that's going to be a point of contention with the stakes at play here. But we're coming down into the corkscrew for what I believe to be the penultimate time here. And barring a catastrophe, Matt Malone up by 2 seconds, and we are coming to, yep, this will be the white flag.
Malone is definitely going to be sending Christmas cards now, Corey, and unbelievably, he had one more lap mistake-free is all he needs.
One more lap mistake-free. Remember what happened to Jack Sanchez? He had a very similar-sized lead, but unfortunately, he got what we presumed to be a slowdown, and then it took him out of contention and gave Malone the magic ticket to the race lead here. Fabian's Wire, he's all the way back there now in the 8th spot, battling with Luis Enriquez, who's a quiet run for him. They're taking the white flag, but up front, again, Malone running decent time. Remember, he did not take tires on his pit stop. He only took that fuel, and that has proved to be enough. He's running the consistent laps. I think at this point Jack Sanchez has overheated those tires, and he's just going to be kicking himself here and hopefully praying for no penalties.
Unbelievable race is what we saw here tonight, Corey. These guys really put on a show the whole event there, and man, those 40 or 45 minutes flew by, and right now you can see Matt Malone just taking it easy on this final lap.
No, I mean, with all the action we had up front, we didn't get much into our amateur class here today. Matt Thompson leading that one with Charles Hosea. Chuck Labano down to 13, so there will be a light gain in points for Hosea here, but it'll still be a grim picture for the championship changing next week at Bathurst. But coming down through the conclusion of the lap, obviously, it's been a up and down season for Mr. Malone. He started off great at VIR. Things went astray. Of course, the Interlagos pit incident took the cake on the season, but he's going to right the ship here. He's going to get the momentum heading into Bathurst, and he's going to steal himself a win. Matt Malone wins at Laguna Seca.
Unbelievable.
Jack Sanchez gets second.
The only words that I have.
And Iro Nam will sneak out of third here. Kevin Parrish fourth. Randall McGrew gets a fifth. Other drivers coming through. This is a good battle here. Brandon Brush with a dive underneath Chuck Labano here. That's our amateur points leader. Dan Ott there exiting the final quarter. This is all about 12th, 13th position. Great racing here, but it looks like Nick Beaver, he didn't do his job. He finished 12th here on the evening. As still waiting for more guys to finish. Any other battles coming to the checkers here? Luke Sedenga, did he get his bumper back? They found his bumper, so sorry folks, it won't be on eBay. He'll settle for a 20th here on the evening. Going a little bit further back, we still got guys here in the corkscrew. Aaron, that face Bray, battling with Tom Went, and just about turned him there, but this is for 28th. Again, all positions matter here in AMS.
These guys battling out all the way to the end and trying to cross over out of the final turn. Look at that.
Yeah, so that is a good battle there. And while the rest of these guys go and finish their laps, we are going to go ahead and start our post-race show here, Brandon. So I know road racing isn't your forte, but you like your Mustangs, you like some Laguna Seca, and what a race we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely incredible racing, and we saw just about everything at the end there. Pit strategies, running and racing for the lead and the runner-up positions, and incredible show. Yep, and let's get our standings here on the screen. Matt Malone gets the win by 2.6 seconds. Iro Nam with the third. Kevin Parrish in fourth. Rayla McGrew in fifth. We've got Ian Lane in sixth. Luis Enriquez in seventh. Evan Hoopchak in eighth. Zwire and Matt Thompson. He'll get our amateur win here. Second page results. We got Charles Hosea, Nick Beaver, Chuck Labano, Brandon Brush, Dahan O'Toole, quiet run for him in 15th. And that will finish our second page. And here we have most of our amateur class here. Ed Sancinelli, 21st for the pros. You got Dave Jay Little, Dave Blair, Levi Powell, Brandon Smith, Stefan Price, Aaron Bray. And we will let the next page of results scroll on by. And you can see where your favorite driver may be going here. Most of these guys off the lead lap or had some issues there. Reese Gardner, a very uncharacteristic run for him down there in 42nd. But let's go ahead and get our post-race show going. Matt Malone, well, that's not ideal. At least he did it after the race here, but let's go ahead. And we'll drag him on. We will drag him on in here, hopefully. There we go. Mr. Matt Malone, you got a copy, my friend.
I'm here.
Well, you pulled it off, I think, with a little help from Jack Sanchez messing up there, but you had to play the defensive champions there. You hung on, you persevered, you didn't take tires, and you had just enough car to pull this one off, man. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels great, especially at Laguna Seca. I've been driving this track for years, part of the default content. You drive a lot with Mazda. I probably got thousands of laps here, and it's just nice to actually do well at a track that you like and that you are pretty competent at. So, yeah, that was a great race. I did everything right. I didn't make any boneheaded mistakes, because I've been known to do that in the past, and came away with the victory, man. I'm loving it. I'm on cloud nine.
Yeah.
And I'm in the interview booth with you guys. This is always my goal, is to be up here with you.
Dreams sometimes too come true here, but I do got to ask you about the pit strategy. You were one of the lone few to not take tires. Most everybody else put a set of right sides on, and you got out of the pits about a second and a half faster. Was that just your strategy going into it, or did you kind of have an inkling, maybe I could pull something off here to gain some time?
Well, at the beginning of the race, I wanted to save my tires, not be thrashing it, because I knew it would be real slick. So I just kind of fell in line early on and just kind of was riding behind everybody in a train. So then I realized, I'm like, oh, well, I'm saving a bunch of fuel doing this. And I looked at my fuel calculator pretty early on, like lap 5, 6, or 7 or whatever, and it said I was like at 2.2, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, this is a 2-gallon race. So then I just kind of kept it easy from there, just made sure I saved just enough. It wasn't that hard to save, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going 2 gallons. And so yeah, that was a strategy for this race for sure.
And one last thing for you, pretty scary pit entry here. Any nightmares on that pit entry?
No, and of course I forgot to practice my pit entry before the race, and I always forget to practice my standing start, but it went pretty well. So I don't know, I just kind of flew in there and slammed on the brakes, cut the wheel, and it worked out.
All right. It worked out well indeed. Well, a tough one next week at Bathurst for our season finale. We'll see if you can round out the title back-to-back. Matt, any final words before I let you go?
No, yeah, excited for the season finale, and hey, look, the championship is up in the air. It's anybody's game, so it should be an exciting race at Bathurst. So we'll see you there.
All right, sounds good, my friend. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, and now I got second place here. Well, we had the captain on the top of the pylon there, and now Jack. My guess is you're going to feel a little bit deflated after that one. Was it ultimately a slowdown that did you in?
No, it's this fanatic H-pattern shifter that decided I was looking for first instead of third. The gate is working right? I'm grabbing the right shift. I recalibrated this thing several times before the race. Something with the magnetic hall sensor down there just let me down in a big way today.
Yeah, because we were looking at the replay. We couldn't figure out what it was, but I guess that does answer it. So mechanical issues beyond your control. Again, that must take a sting out of it. But you still gain a little bit on Aero coming into the championship finale. But ultimately, I know that last lap incident with Fabian, that was a tight call. Could you walk me through that one?
You know, I just took a look at it because I needed to know myself, and it just looks like he tracked out too wide and didn't leave me the space on exit. So I'm just going to call a racing incident there. You know, I left him all the space I could. I'm a pretty fair racer, so just a shame. And then, you know, Kevin was giving me the doors pretty good there at the end after it. So I'm not sure, you know, it seems like there's some teams maybe, because he also gave it up to Aero right at the checkered flag, you know, give a point back. So I didn't gain as much on Aero as it was looking in the first half for sure. And then, yeah, congrats to Malone on making it work.
Yeah, hopefully it works out in your favor and admin sees it from your perspective, so you don't want to have that happening into the championship finale, man. But congrats on a solid run. You did almost everything you needed to do, but we'll see if you could wrap it up next week at Bathurst.
Yeah, no doubt. That'll be a tough track, and, you know, I think I got to wish a little bit of chaos maybe to take it to first, but otherwise we'll hope to hold second, and thanks, guys. All
right, we'll catch you. And now I have our amateur winner here on the evening, Mr. Matt Thompson. Well, Matt, from our perspective, the guys up front were stealing the show here, but you had a nice solid day. I think one of the best amateur positions here on the season and cracking the top 10. What was it like from that number 133 perspective tonight?
It was hectic. There was a lot going on. I ended up being most of the race I got by myself and was able to just put in laps, but early on it was crazy with that wreck in the final corner right in front of me. It was my heart rate was up there for this one.
Yeah, obviously with Chuck Labano kind of being all the way out there in no man's land for the championship, but I know you're kind of within striking distance of Charles Hosea, but he didn't help you out there by finishing directly behind you. So taking a good solid run here today, heading into a ultra difficult track next week at Bathurst. What's the confidence like in maybe trying to pick another couple spots off or one spot off in the point standings at Bathurst next week? What's the confidence level there?
Bathurst is a crapshoot. I feel like I can drive it well. It's just trying not to get caught up in somebody else's mess. So that's my goal, is to get myself prepped for it, go out and put in my race and try to avoid disaster.
Yeah, put a lot of emphasis on qualifying, I'm sure, because it will come into play, and might need a little bit of luck there if you want to get second, but you know, that's going to be the track where if there's going to be some issues, I'm sure it might happen next week. So let's see if it works in your favor.
Yep, looking forward to it.
All right, have a good night, man.
Thank you.
All right, and Charles Osier here, our second place in the amateur class, and again, it's not working out for you, man, when it comes to trying to gain on Chuck. You finish ahead of him. Maybe it's 8 or 9 point swing over the course of the race, but he always manages to claw and maybe only make it a 2 or 3 point swing coming to the back of the run. What's that feel like? It feels like you can never gain any time on him.
Yeah, exactly. I feel fortunate that I didn't get caught up in that wreck that Chuck did on the last turn there. But on the flip side, Matt was running away with it. So I don't know where he's going to be now in the mix of it. Should be a great final race, though, at Bathurst.
Yeah, exactly that. And coming into obviously we're going to have a break in between seasons. But with the run you have, do you think that you might be able to rip that AM tag off and go with the black stripe for next season?
Well, I'm focused on winning a championship first, so let's stick to that, and hopefully maybe next season, because I think Chuck's going to get this one well-deserved. But I guess anything's possible at Bathurst, right? So.
Yeah, exactly that. With 45 cars and a track with walls on all sides, you can't write anything off because one mistake could lose 20 points in the standings, man. But you did a great job today. You're scratching, you're clawing, and might just have to try a little deeper next week, but we'll be watching you.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully good luck comes at Bathurst. I'll see you guys.
All right, have a good night. All right, well, that is our show here today, Brandon. And obviously, I want to thank you for coming here on a one-off event. Maybe the future will give you some more on other races. But as we said earlier, you walked into a great one here today. These guys put on a good one for us.
Sorry, Corey. I'm munching on dinner over here during your interviews. But absolutely fantastic event. I'm really, really impressed by this series, first of all. These guys all did a fantastic job.
Yeah, fantastic job, obviously done. So I want to make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We will be back on Wednesday night, which is tomorrow. I always lose my bearings here with the dates. We'll be back for the Spartan Sim Racing Truck Series at Texas. Double duty with E-Car and Red Sox on Thursday. And then we'll be back next Tuesday for the series finale here with AMS. But that's going to be Corey and Brandon signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.